Hi sewing friends, how are you? So today I just finished work. I am tired, but I've still got to go to the gym. So I thought I would just power through this little YouTube tutorial-esque because I'm actually not showing you a tutorial on how to do something, but I'm actually going to show you guys 3 beginner-friendly seam finishes. I'm just going to move you guys in a little bit, well, close and personal, why don't you? Because I have got, first of all, a drink. Yummy. But I'm going to take you over the top 3 beginner seam finishes. The first one being a pinking sheared edge, right? This is just made by doing a normal seam allowance. I do 1 centimeter, you can do 1.5 or however much you want. And then you just use a pair of pinking shears down the edge. What are pinking shears, might you ask? Well, I wish I'd thought through this video because I would have had them right next to me, but of course I don't. They are somewhere in my sewing studio. I'll see if I can find them very quickly. Hold that thought. I found them. Okay. I got them. It's okay. I'll show you. Because they're actually really fun. Right? So, as you may recall, it's all jagged like that, right? And that is because those are all pointy. I like to call these my crocodile scissors because they're all snappy. And they look like a crocodile. I'm not lying. So, I'll calm down now. So basically what you do when you've done your seam, let's say that, you know, I've done my seam down here. I then get my pinking shears. God, I've got to do this for camera. And then I go along like that. And that will create pinking sheared edge. So the point of having a pinking sheared edge is to stop the fabric from fraying, because if you look here, there's lots of loose ends of thread, right? Whereas if you look here, there aren't, right? And that is because as you handle your fabric and as it gets worn in one of your garments, the threads at the side will start to come undone. But if you do pinking shear, it's not really got to, you know, you've got to go down quite a few millimeters for it to start fraying. Therefore, you get not as many loose ends on that edge. I hope that makes sense. But I tend to use pinking shear edges for things like the inside of a lined garment that is like a cotton or a linen or a woven, because that will stop the edges from fraying and fraying away your seam allowance. I'll show you an example. I didn't use pinking shears on this coat lining I'm about to show you, and I should have, and I would have avoided this issue. Hold. I really should think these videos out a bit more, but I like doing them like this, so it's fine. So let me just reorientate myself back this way. So this is a coat I wear a lot here in Melbourne for winter, and see what happened. I did not use pinking shears or any seam finishes for that matter for this interior lining piece, and what's happened is that through wear and tear it's come apart. The fibers have kind of disintegrated naturally inside of my lining, which has then caused the seam to come undone and create a hole. So, cautionary tale, pinking shears if nothing else. And the best thing about pinking shears is that as you're cutting out your lining for your coat, you don't have to cut it out with normal scissors and then pinking shears. Just cut it out with pinking shears. Dead simple, really easy, and saves you from having to sit down and repair it, which I will eventually do, but I'm doing other cross stitch and needlepoint at the moment, so that's just gonna that will go in a pile till next winter, and then I probably won't fix it as well, so because I just don't want to right now. I'd much rather make new stuff. Anyway, so pinking shears, number 1. Number 2 is a French seam. So a French seam is a mini seam that has been encased in itself, right? So that's how it looks like on the inside. You see how there's no raw edges of that fabric? Compared to that side, it looks completely neat and professional, as it should. So a French seam is often used on really delicate fabrics, so like a silk or a tulle, so really lightweight fabrics. I just use this really lightweight cotton as an example, but mainly sheer fabrics a French seam is used for. So the way you make a French seam is instead of putting the right sides together, which you would normally do for a lot of basic seams, you put the wrong sides together so that the right sides are facing outwards. You sew a 0.7 centimeter seam allowance, and then you press it open flat, and then you trim it, and then you flip it back over so that it's now facing right sides together, wrong sides facing out, and then you stitch 0.7 centimeter seam allowance. So if your garment does not have French seams in the pattern and you want to do French seam, you'll have to do a bit of alterations with the seam allowance, because French seams, they use more seam allowance because you're having to sew it, trim it, flip it, sew it again. So whereas with other seam allowances, you're just sewing. So that's a French seam. Really, it's not really easy to do, but it's just straight stitching. So I quite like using French seams. Speaking of, French seams are really good for like hiding little holes. For example, I've actually done French seams in this top I'm wearing here because I had lots of little holes, little bite marks in this top that I had to work around because my sister's dog, Lucy, played tug of war with this vintage Liberty fabric. So I call this my Lucy top in memory of her tug of war with my beautiful vintage Liberty fabric. So the last one, I told you we're keeping this one short, is overlocking seam, right? That side's a lot prettier. So an overlocker is made serger. Overlocker serger, interchangeable terms, but an overlocking seam is used on a lot of stretch fabrics, like my turtleneck. So you see how the fabric stretches? Not so much that way, it's mainly a two-way stretch that way. But overlocking allows your thread, thank you. Overlocking allows your thread to move with the garment and with the stretch of the garment. But it can also be used as just a way to seal the edges of your fabric. Example. God, this coat has come in handy for examples. So you will see inside the lining of this coat that I've actually, because this fabric frayed like nothing I've ever seen before because of the weave. So what I did is I overlocked the edges there. I'm just so smart. So overlocking can stop your fabric from fraying any further into your fabric pieces. I tend to overlock a lot of my garments purely because I am very superstitious, and as you have seen with my lining, I should have overlocked the lining or pinking sheared it so that it wouldn't start fraying. So those are 3 examples. So the pinking shear, right there, the French seam, and the overlocking seam. All really great beginner-friendly ways to prevent your fabric from fraying and finishing your seam allowances with. For those of you who are wondering about my beautiful crocodile scissors, also known as pinking shears, they are available through LDH Scissors, an absolutely beautiful company. I would 100% recommend every sewist needs a pair of their scissors, because the difference with these scissors is I actually feel like a sewing professional with them. Like the weight of them makes me feel just like, oh yeah, I got this. That's sewing confidence when something like that can give you that like extra boost. Also with these scissors, they're so well made. I will hand these down as an heirloom to my children, future family members. These are multi-generational scissors. So if you're into sewing and you need some scissors, check them out. I need to go to the gym because obviously I have a lot of excess energy today. But then I'll actually show you while I'm here. See, terrible at planning out these videos. But, okay, I want to tell you what I'm doing. Okay, so what I've been doing recently is something called self-care. That is a very foreign policy to me because I am a Virgo and I go until I no more. And then I had a month off work because I had severe burnout. So to help me cope with all of that, I've started doing my needlepoint again. And something that I've enjoyed doing in the evenings, is sitting down and watching a true crime documentary on Netflix and doing my needlepoint. And I think that is the happiest part of my day. Like, I have lots of great parts of my day, but that is, it's so good. So I'll just show you what I've been working on. I actually started this piece that I'm working on now 2 years ago when I first came to Melbourne, and I've only just picked it back up. So this is kind of like 2 years / not 2 years in the making, but look what I'm doing. Because I really like tiles, and in Melbourne, in a bunch of the shops on the floor, there's like beautiful tiles and like, they're so pretty. And so I just started doing this, and it's just completely freehand. I've had to undo quite a bit of it because I messed it up, but I like it. So, you know, I should just do a video when I just sit here and talk to you guys about stuff in general. Because I've actually been doing needlepoint for quite a few years. I actually started doing needlepoint before I learned to sew. So that's interesting, because imagine if I went down the needlepoint route. I still could. Watch this space. But until then, if you have enjoyed this, don't mind me. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe down below, because then it kind of shows me what you guys like, what you don't like. Doesn't matter, because I will keep on doing these videos because I like them. So, but yeah, if you guys would like to subscribe, that would be lovely, but no pressure. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week, because it's Monday here. I normally film these on like a Saturday or a Sunday. I try to aim for a Saturday, but I have been très busy. And I think I've just screwed up part of my embroidery, so I'll love you and leave you. I got it. It's okay, don't panic. I'm good. Love you and leave you. And it'll be fun to, okay, I should have thought this through, especially with my videos. I wish I could start an embroidery, and then as I progress through my videos, at the end of it, I do like a little, what's Annie been up to? And I just like show you the progress on my cross stitch. I'm 28, not 68. though that does sound quite fun. I just want to make apple pie a lot and just sit and do my embroidery and cross stitch. Fun fact, that embroidery up there I did, and it took me 9 months, and that's like a whole baby. It took me 9 months to do that. It is an embroidery of sunflowers with the message, "Here comes the sun," on it in the negative space. I'll show you guys at some stage because I've been doing needlepoint for so long. Okay, I've got to go. Okay, bye.